people earn money, but are still not building anything. And that is very shocking, because if after a long period of time you've worked really, 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 really hard and there's still nothing to show for it, it's a very painful feeling. Because it's important that you know that working for money is not the same thing as building wealth. And that is what we'll be talking about in this video session. The difference between, or giving you an understanding of what income is and what real wealth is. So just stick with us as we enter this conversation.
Welcome back. So I would always say, when it comes to money, a lot of people feel agitated. It's one of the most sensitive topics that we have. When you want to. It's one of the topics that are sensitive to talk about. People don't like talking about money.
Yes.
All right. So, but the truth and the hard truth is that money is one of the factors of life that is here to stay. All right. We have relationship, we have marriage, we have sex. All those topics are very sensitive. But today we are talking about how income is not the same thing. The money you are making every single day is not the same thing as you building wealth for yourself. And I've understood and made that clear. We have two types of money. So what does it mean? The first one is money from your time. So you're a salary earner, you're a business person, you're someone who hustles every single day, you're an entrepreneur. So the money you get from that hustle or that salary or work you are doing, which they pay you salary, is the same thing as the energy you expend.
Exactly.
So if you don't come to work, or just we've not that system or that structure where any day you don't come to work, they subtract it from the salary. So the money you are getting is the same as the energy you put in that work. So that's the first type of money you make. And the next type of money is the money you build or you get from assets. This is where it gets sweeter. Like things you have to get and things you own from things that do not concern you. You just stay in your house and you just get an alert. That kind of money is sweet. And it takes time for you to build those kind of money. It's not something you wake up and start building. But understanding this helps you to start. So I believe by the end of the topic sharing today, a lot of people will gain clarity on what you can start doing immediately. Like I said, money is a sensitive thing. It is for the young and the old. In fact, the young, the medium, and the old. Anywhere you are, money must hit you and it must touch you. All right. So the earlier you get it and you start knowing how to fashion your life in such a way that it's smooth, all right, it's better for you.
About money, income, and wealth. A lot of people make this common mistake. They think that income equals wealth.
Okay.
And it's dicey. It's a very slim line that differentiates these two things, because, like you said, right, you mentioned two types of money. The type you work once, you exchange time for, and the type you make from assets, right? And now you should understand that I'll use this analogy. Income basically is something you do to get something constantly. You do something to get it. It's like she's rightly said, energy you put in. So a salary, the moment you do this, you get this. You have to do it again to get it, right? And if you do it, you will get it. Someone calls it like sweat equity. You will put in the work for that to come. You don't put in the work, you don't get any returns.
Exactly.
Basically, salary is the simplest of ways to understand this. Someone says that income is a flow and wealth is a store. So we are not saying income is about, though. No, we are saying you need to understand this so you're not just on the income race and not building anything. Remember, we said some people work so hard at the start. We said that, and then at the end they don't build anything. So we are trying to help you understand, whilst income is good, it's important to also have a wealth mindset to understand what real wealth is. So income is a cycle. So you earn for work, you earn, right? You work, you earn, you work and work, and that's how it goes, right? So it shouldn't just end in work and in cycle. There should be a place where from everything you're earning, something is going towards building, because wealth is built, right? Wealth is built. Your income should be driven towards something. And this common mistake of So I see a lot of people who, this is common, right? This is common. I'm glad that this generation, lots of people are debunking that saying. You know, prior now, last year, last 2 years, last 3 years, you hear that saying a lot. Fake it till you make it.
Yeah.
And a lot of people live above their means. They live above their income. They live,
They're literally shooting themselves in the foot.
exactly. So if you just earn and spend everything at the end of the day, it's not wise. It's definitely not wise, because the aim of income is to help you build a better life and not just expend everything. So if you're someone who believes that every dime you earn should be spent, chop life first. Nobody who their life will, nobody who their life will build wealth. Nobody their life will build wealth. It's going to limit you. You're going to be seeing money, yes, but the moment you can no longer work, you're going to return to borrowing. And that's why you hear lots of stories, especially it's common in everywhere.
You need to say that again. When you stop working,
ceases.
Yes, like you start borrowing.
Exactly. You start, because when the money was coming instantly, you are living on a standard. The moment you stop working, you can no longer sustain that standard. You start trying to borrow to live on that standard. And this story is common amongst many stars, football stars, those people who, as a result of what they were doing when they had the energy to play the game, to do that, money was coming in, and the moment they can no longer pay because of age, they can no longer sustain that lifestyle because they were not using the income from the work that time to set up something.
Exactly.
And that's the mindset we are trying to debunk right here. And we're going to be telling you a couple of things as well, how you can, leverage your income to build something in time to come, and things that you can look at as well to build wealth. It's important that you know that everything that you make should not just go into bills and lifestyle. So if you live like that, no matter how much you earn, nothing will grow in your hands, because at the end of the day, you're spending everything.
True.
So it's important that you instill discipline in making sure that you do not spend every dime that you earn. There was something you mentioned earlier. How about some people that make 100K, for instance, they make 100K in a month and set aside 10,000 naira, and they are consistently doing that. It's not in the amount to set aside, it's in the discipline of having that mindset to build. Because most of the time, the energy, the attitude you bring towards 100K, you're likely going to bring that same attitude towards 100 million. So if you're able to set aside 10% of 100,000, you also are like to set aside 10% of 100 million when it comes. So it's instilling that mindset of earning to save something from or build something from, and not earning to spend. That's one common mistake you should avoid, believing that every dime earned is every time spent. Yes.
All right. So how do we start to correct this mindset that is wrong? Especially if you already have that, let's survive. Let's just eat for the day. Money will come. There are some people like that. They are just, let's just survive. I cannot keep money for anybody that is coming after me. Let me eat first. How do you change that mindset? How do you ensure that you start changing narrative? Because sometimes these narratives we are built on the environment around you.
Exactly.
Maybe you grew up in lack, so you just want to eat for the day and nothing else. So you mentioned about discipline. So people who save 10,000 naira from 100,000, you say, oh, how much is 10,000 naira? What is 10,000 naira? But forgetting the fact that it's the acts of discipline. If you cannot save 10,000 from 100,000, someone can give you 1 million, and in the next month, 1 month is foul. In the next 2 weeks, you are looking for the 1 million. Understand? So money should be learned how to spend, save, and build it. If it is an act, it's not something you can fact because you have in your account somewhere. Someone just sent you money. You want to constantly, you don't sit down, think on how to navigate it. Before you know it, 2 weeks, 1 million has gone out of your account. And you don't want to continue your life like that. So first thing we have to do to change this mindset is discipline. You have to discipline yourself, knowing that there's a way money works. There are books that can help you. Then the second thing is reading. As an individual, as a young person, even if you are older now, you have to read. There's this book that always makes sense for me, Rich Dad Poor Dad. Very boring book, I must tell you. Very
Yeah,
boring.
yeah.
If you can successfully read that book continuously, every single day, just read a page, something happens to your mind. So these two things get to change the narrative, how you see money. Money comes to you because of the value you give daily. So you don't constantly chase money. Oh, we're working, we're hustling, we are doing this to get money. Money will keep running from you. But if you constantly sit down, ask yourself, what should I do? What value should I create? How should I be of help to people? Eventually, money will start coming to you. You see people running and pushing money, they don't get it. Somebody is in their house, money is coming to them. Do you understand? So it's necessary that we constantly change that narrative. It's not something you change once, so every single day.
Exactly.
Every single day. Because there's some things the wealthy people know, people do not know. So what are the things they know that you don't know? I believe you're a wealthy person, right? But what are the things that the wealthy people know that they're not sharing? So I also mentioned that there are some wealthy people that they don't wash their cars.
Yeah.
They don't cook. They don't do their laundry.
They don't do chores.
They don't do chores. And some people will be like, what do they mean? What are they feeling? No, it's not about what they're feeling. They are using the money to sit down. They're using the money to pay people, but meanwhile, they're sitting down to do things only them can do. That is brain work. All right. So people tell you smart work. So that is where the work is. And smart work is very difficult. For you to get yourself to sit down and focus.
Yeah.
Master something tangible. So I think that is how you can start changing your mindset about money.
Strong one.
Yeah.
You know, she said something about what the wealthy people do differently. Now, one thing that they do differently, and we're going to have a conversation about this.
Yeah.
One thing they do differently is they don't just focus on income.
Okay.
But they focus on income that does not depend on their time. What does that mean? They make money from things that they are not actively doing.
Involved in.
Exactly. And in this place is a good place to talk about this. You know, most of the times when you hear something like this, buying an assets, when you hear asset, one thing that comes to your mind first is real estate, house, something for cash flow, capital gain, and the likes of that. But this is a good place to say that they focus on things that does not depend on their time. My boss, for instance, wrote a book recently, right? And a book is one thing that people really underlook. Most books, whether it's self-help, a novel, or whatever, if you take the time, you may take the time to write it once. It may stress you one time. Let's say there are some people, you hear them say, this book took me 6 years to write. And you're like, we had a lot of time, but when it comes out, you now see 6 million copies sold. One time effort, over and over again. You're just one day, you put it out there, someone sees your book and like, oh, that book you wrote, I'm interested, I want to buy it. Ding dong, or ding dong is a cowbell, is a doorbell. What's that loud sound again for iPhone? And a large drops. Someone just bought the book you didn't spend the time again for. Another thing that they understand is they create courses. Create a course, put it out there. Someone wants the course, they create systems, they create masterclass groups. A masterclass that goes on and on and on. One course that just keeps bringing in money. It's not just in properties, not just because maybe you feel, okay, we're a real estate company, we're going to say all assets are real estate based. No, you can actually invest in a book. The smarter, that not every artist these days are smart, but the smart artists understand that even music can be an asset. If you create good music, you put it out, then every time the music is aired on a particular platform, you make money from it without having to work again in that time. Exactly. That thing just keeps bringing to you back over and over again. It's important you know all these things, intellectual properties, understand royalties. Like she said, understanding money is not a one-time thing. Exactly. It's something you discovering different parts of money. There's not one path to making money. You have to understand that income is not just one way to eat. You have to continually stay on it, improving yourself. And as you're changing with time, you realize, oh, this path to go back to this path to continue creating income for myself. Just keep on giving up value with your stages of evolution. So you keep money coming in. Because the wealthy understand that your energy will eventually fail you.
True. You won't get this young forever.
So they're thinking, like she said something, when you're brought up in a survival background, you just want to live in the moment, or let's just maybe find food, chop first for today. And then before you know it, that becomes a lifestyle. But sometimes you have to give yourself a break and try to think 10 years ahead, 20 years ahead. Will I still have this energy? By then, if you're going to get married, my children, my wife, give me the time to work like this. So when you begin to think like that, remember I said things the world will do differently. They intentionally spend, create from, don't have to do always. And then two, they think long term. When this energy fails me, what will work at that time? Right? Because their life is not necessarily funded by what they do, but by what they own. And then remember, now you own a book, you own something, you own music, you own royalties, IP, and all of that. And it's a good place to just mention this in passing. Most people do not realize how much relationships can get for you.
Yes.
If you own good relationships, I said own here intentionally. You're asking yourself, how can you own relationships? Well, like every other investment, if you want to own a relationship, you invest in the relationship. You intentionally do certain things. And by investment, it's not only money. Money is one of the many things you can invest. The popular acronym is MEAT: money, energy, attention, and time. If you invest these things rightly in people, a relationship can be a great asset over a long period of time.
True.
So I'll just say that in passing. So they own things like this, so that in the long run, Sapa will not come and take away everything that they have worked.
All right, this is quite a tense topic, like I said when I started. So the goal here is not to pressure you, right?
Exactly.
We're not pressuring you. We're just bringing some deep truth to your knowledge. All right, as we are talking, we are also learning from this, and we are learning to make sure that we constantly think of long term, because we can't be this young forever. So think of the bills you are paying today. Let assets pay for you.
Yes.
All right, and we can't share everything to you. The essence is that now that you know, you will now seek the right knowledge. There are knowledge that can help you, right? The bills you pay, for example, transport, house rent, food, assets should be responsible to paying it. In fact, I listened to Myron Golden, courtesy my husband. All right, he talks about this a lot, and I've constantly listened to him to understand, because sometimes when they tell you this thing, you will not understand it the first time. It's over time, it will start making sense.
Yeah.
The Bible says faith comes by hearing. There's that part where you constantly hear and hear, then you understand it, you can now put it into practice. So
yes,
not only by your daily efforts, just start thinking that it's not because I go out every day, that's when I have to make money. How can I make sure that I sit down somewhere and I still get that same money? I put the effort, maybe once, maybe twice, and constantly it yields money for me. That is the goal. That is the goal. As a young person, you are skilled in something. How do you ensure that people coming after you can reap from this? All right, not just because you're making money from it immediately. How can I make sure that even maybe something happens and that same skill I have that I'm good at, people can pay me for it and I don't have to be there? I just create a system that constantly brings money for me. As someone who is already married, you are wondering, how should I start this? How can I, you are doing something, how can I add more value to you or whoever that will constantly bring value, bring money to me? Like I said, it's not easy, but this knowledge will help you get started.
The question now is, if you stop working right now, if you can no longer work right now, what is still going to be paying you? If you check and your answer is, nothing will pay me, or there's nothing to pay me, then you should start rethinking. You should start rethinking, because whether we like it or yes, as a single entity, as a human being that we are, you will not always have the energy to expend the efforts you are expending right now.
No, true.
And if you do not intentionally create a system and a structure around yourself and your income, the moment you stop working, that is it for you.
True.
You would it just stops. You start borrowing and living a terrible life. Remember, the goal at the start was, the question we asked was, how a lot of people work really hard, make a whole lot of money, but at the end of the day, there is nothing built. So if you stop working now, if you can no longer work now, what will still pay you? If your answer is nothing, like I said, rethink, structure, create a system, because wealth is built intentionally.
True.
It is built intentionally. Think beyond what you're doing now. Think myself, I've thought beyond what I'm doing. There are diverse things. We wouldn't start talking about these things now. But maybe if you have questions and you can drop them in the comment section, and we'll tell you how to personally, and we can share some things with you
Exactly.
that can help you, whether as a young person growing or as a married woman, can help with that. Whatever, just drop it down there. We can share with you some things that would definitely help you grow from income to actively building wealth, because income and wealth are not the same thing.
All right, so as we round up this topic, that's quite time we've spent here. We want to ensure that as a company, we've also understood that, yes, we sell real estate in Abuja, but most importantly, we want you to understand these topics, these sensitive topics like making money, wealth building, wealth creation. So that's why we talked about sharing these topics to you. So if you found out here, don't forget to like this video. If you also want to know more, like you have questions, you can reach us on the numbers in the description and how you can get started. Bearing in mind that you don't just build wealth only using real estate, right? We always say that real estate is one of the oldest means of wealth, but there are other forms of other ways you can build wealth.
Yes.
We have stocks, we have cryptos. You just have to understand it and you can start. All right. So thank you for sticking with us to this very point. And if you have questions, don't hesitate to let us know, and we'll gladly answer you. Till we come your way again, stay safe and bye.
Enjoy a great day.